two close friends are having a great time on the shores of Norway, near a fjord that was quite tall and majestic. Both of them were jumping around on their jet ski right in the middle of it, shouting out loudly so that their voices would echo back from those cliffs, and doing this gave them a lot of joy. But they were completely unaware that by doing this, they were disturbing someone from their sleep. Who is that? The boy sitting in the back says that we should go a little further ahead where the water is deeper, which will make our speed go forward even faster. The one in the front heard this and reached right into the middle. There, the two of them started spinning that jet ski at full speed. Right at that very moment, a huge shadow is moving right behind them deep within the ocean. The two were just enjoying the speed above, when suddenly something collided so hard with their jet ski that both lost their balance and fell into the water. The thrill of speed came to an end in a fraction of a second. What actually happened to them, nobody found out. What was that thing? This question will definitely trouble you for a bit. At that very moment, marine researcher Johanna receives a message from her head, ordering her to go to that exact same Norwegian fjord tomorrow itself, the one we saw just a little while ago. Actually, these people had received news that over the past few days, a lot of disruption had been witnessed in things, such as fish coming to the surface of the water on their own, and a lot of commotion was also found beneath the water. When Johanna saw the videos, she couldn't believe her eyes either. Therefore, the very next day, she reached a fisherman's town nestled along the edge of that fjord, who have been living here for many years. Perhaps they have the answers to her questions. On the other side, Mr. Nelson, the owner of the biggest fish farm there, was explaining things about his firm's machinery to some investors who had come from outside. He claimed that this fjord is the deepest ocean fjord in the world, with a depth of approximately 1,300 feet. The best and most organic fish in the world are found here, and we have certain machines through which we can catch millions of tons of fish at one go. He was trying to persuade them in every possible way so that those people would invest money in his firm. During the conversation, he presented his newest method before them, by which they keep these fish healthy and alive for a longer time. They do this with the help of sonar technology, but this statement of his did not go down well with the investors standing in front of him, because if sonar is used for too long or at a higher frequency, it can upset the ocean's environment. When Nelson felt that his point was now being proven useless, he called upon his most special engineer, who explained that the most crucial thing for us is tracking the safe frequency, which we have already done, and we are also benefiting from this. Even now, some people find this thing beyond their understanding, but they do not say anything. Johanna meets her old friend Luke there, with whom she begins this quest. She wanted to figure out how these fish are dying. When the first report came before her, she was a bit surprised too, so she picked up a nearby sick fish and took it to the lab. There, she took out its heart and placed it close to the sonar frequencies. As she kept increasing the frequency, the heart was beating faster and faster, or perhaps trembling, either of which could be true. From this, Johanna understood that the frequency had become too high, which is why this was happening. Luke had also told her while leaving that we need to turn off these sonar devices, because while they are beneficial for us, they are death for those creatures. Johanna was going to stay at that firm until this research operation ended. There, she met Eric. When the two looked at each other, they paused for a moment, as if they had known each other from before. Just then, George arrived, who took Johanna upstairs near all the machines. The next day, when Eric and Johanna are hiking by the ocean, during that time too, Eric asks her why she has come here, but Johanna's mind was somewhere else entirely. She felt as if something was right beneath them and listening to them. Eric also senses this thing, and when they look at the shot from above, it becomes clear how huge and terrifying this thing is. First, there were only fish, but now even turtles have started coming out of the water, which happens very rarely. Surely something bad is about to happen. Before these people return, a strange incident took place. Something collided with the sonar device, causing it to stop. So George gives orders to bring it up, and when Eric opens it, they find out that its transducer had increased on its own, due to which it became fast and stopped. However, at that very moment, Johanna saw something that was astonishing. Something was stuck inside that device, which these people opened and immediately pulled out. When they took it to the lab and checked it closely, it was the first time in Johanna's career that she didn't even know the name of that sea creature. She stated that it might be some creature living beneath that 1,300 300 feet depth, which has some strange tentacles, and it is leaving behind a blue-colored substance that looks extremely frightening to look at. Both of their eyes remained wide open in shock. Near the town, the jet ski of those two boys was also recovered from the ocean. When one boy goes near it and touches it, that same liquid gets on his hand, that very blue substance. Things are going to take an even more terrifying turn. Just watch. That substance is simply not coming off Johanna's hands. Even after bathing, an alarm suddenly started ringing in the fish firm. When they checked the footages, they were stunned. All the salmon fish were restless and running here and there. Johanna was called immediately. When she arrived, she saw that a deep red color was coming up from the ocean. So without wasting any time, she put on her diving suit and went into the ocean to find out what was down there. When she descended below, her senses were blown away. There were 2 human corpses down there. Johanna immediately informed the sheriff about this. When she arrived, she immediately recognized them by looking at them. They were the exact same tourists whose jet ski had flipped over. But the revelation, even more shocking than this, came when Johanna showed her their hands and feet, which had that same blue substance on them. The sheriff asked in astonishment, "What is this?" Then it was discovered that this is bioluminescence. This is found in those creatures that are either about to lay their eggs or feel some kind of danger, but no creature releases this substance in such a large quantity. This is beyond capacity, which clearly means that this is neither a shark nor a fish, but something else entirely beneath the ocean, about which we have no idea. Everyone who was present was in shock. George was worried about his firm because the investors' money had just been invested, and if anything went wrong, his boss wouldn't spare him. We saw a team that was learning how to kayak, if someone falls into the water, how to get back up to speed afterwards. This was their lesson for today. One by one, all the women went down and came back up. But when the last one went down, she didn't come back up. It seems she started practicing how to stay down for a longer time. Everyone was waiting, saying, "She'll come now, she'll come now." And when she did come, she came only halfway. Her lower body remained down there. Only the upper half came back up to practice returning. The lower half did not. The sheriff was immediately notified. When she looked at this thing, she got nauseous, because this was extremely painful. That woman's kayak also had that same substance on it, which proved beyond doubt that behind every death there is one and the same thing. But what that thing is, no one has found out yet. There, Emma, along with her friends, was busy secretly turning off her own dad's fish firm's sonar devices because she was against them from the beginning. These sonars can never clean the ocean. Rather, they are causing harm to it. Emma was the very girl who had made those videos and uploaded them to social media, following which Johanna was sent here. Johanna hears the exact same frequency 1,300 meters away from the firm as the firm's sonar devices were emitting. How is this possible? When Eric heard this, he thought everything was fine, but when Johanna told him that she heard this frequency 1,300 meters away from here, his jaw dropped too. There was something out there generating sounds higher than the hearing power of fish, and such a thing is very rare and has perhaps almost never happened. Eric himself had installed a blocker so that no sound could travel that far. He immediately went to the deck and started checking past records. Then he found out that Mr. Nelson had turned off the blocker 2 months ago so that more salmon fish would come into their contact and he could earn a profit by selling them. But by doing this, they made a huge mistake. Eric immediately calls Nelson, who is currently sitting with those investors and signing the deal. But when he hears that Eric has found out about those blockers, he tells him very calmly that we want more salmon fish in a short time. Selling them will get us so much money that you guys can never imagine. But Eric curses him out thoroughly, and before that could be heard, Nelson cut the call. These people were sitting in an underwater cafe and signing the deal. At that exact same moment, a little girl who was looking at the depths of the ocean through the glass saw something there. She was terrified. When everyone's gaze went to that thing, they were stunned too. This was the upper half of that cut-in-half woman's corpse. On the other side, Johanna performs some tests on that creature, during which she came to know about some things that left both Eric and George stunned. Actually, the sonar that was installed to clean the ocean and keep the salmon fish healthy. That very sonar frequency has awakened a creature that is now out of control, and the creature we found is just a small piece of it, or rather, a baby hatched from one of its eggs. Eric Eric understands that a huge danger is hovering over us. At that very moment, he immediately gives orders to turn off all the sonars, but George stated that if this is done, the entire firm will stop and there will be a loss of millions and crores. Meanwhile, we saw that Emma, along with her friends, had reached the outpost to turn off the second sonar. A boy goes down and quickly turns Module 3 offline, which shut down the sonar there. But as soon as it shut down, a strange thing came close to him and started colliding with him, which scared that boy so much that he lost his mind. Down here, Nelson had also arrived on the deck. Eric and Johanna told him that we will have to turn off all the modules, but he was not ready. At that very same moment, an alarm rang. Module 3 offline. This was that same sonar. Emma was now worried about why her friend wasn't coming up. After a while, the commotion in the water intensified, and at that very moment, he came back up, but only half finished. Half of him was left down there. Eric sees these people. Nelson also recognizes his daughter. They ran towards these people and told them to go inside immediately. Emma was just crying continuously, while Johanna, standing right there, kept her gaze fixed on the ocean. Luke's words started echoing in her mind when he had seen a shadow on one foggy early morning that suddenly emerged over the ocean and then seemed to vanish. Today as well, she felt like something was going to come up, but right then, the entire floor began to shake, so much so that even the deck started trembling. They took everyone inside, but Johanna stood right there, and in the end, she too saw what Luke had seen. Out of that thick fog, a gigantic tentacle first rose up into the sky and then started coming towards them. She started running, but those tentacles landed straight into the firm's fishing area, causing Johanna to fall right there. She lay down in absolute silence. She had figured out that if she moved, she would be killed. The weight of that single tentacle was so immense that when it moved away from the fishing area, it rose high above the water. From this, you can imagine what will happen if all of them come together. Johanna ran inside the building, but when they looked outside, they found out that those same small creatures had started coming out of the water and were attacking their firm. Slowly, noises started coming from the ceilings above as well. Perhaps they had entered inside. Johanna tells everyone to stay quiet. No one dares to move, because right now, no one knows how to face this creature. At that moment, a small creature fell from above and curled up. Without wasting any time, Emma throws her jacket over it and crushes it with her foot. Down there, when George was busy trying to turn off the machines, at that very moment he saw Apocalypse outside through the glass. He realized his mistake. If he had done this work earlier, perhaps this situation wouldn't have arisen at all. But now, the game of death has begun. When these people realized that they had to hide now, everyone hid wherever they could find a space. But Nelson was worried about his daughter. He came out and started calling out her name loudly because he wasn't going to let her die like this. Then, something happens that nobody had expected. That tentacle spins around in the air at high speed and then drops Emma back down. Her condition was very bad, but she was alive. Here, these people were also trying to save themselves by any means possible, but hardly anyone would survive now. Johanna runs and tries to escape by moving forward through the pipes installed inside the fish firm, but by now, those tentacles had entered those pipes. So there, George rushed into a room to save his own life and locked himself in. But inside that same room, one of Emma's friends was hiding. Seeing him, he tells him to stay quiet, but when George goes close to him, he is vomiting blood. That small creature was stuck to his back and was continuously sucking his blood. George takes steps back out of fear, but he didn't run away from there. Instead, a curiosity arose inside him as to what this creature actually is. Therefore, he tried to look at it closely. With great courage, he flips it over with his feet and starts looking at its lower part, but at that exact same moment, that creature releases that liquid onto his face. He said that he was violating its privacy. "Bro, if you want to see me, look at me right side up. Why is it upside down?" Here, Johanna was trying in every possible way to get out of this firm. For this, she also tried to break a ventilation window, but by then, that thing arrived there and started chasing her. Before it could catch her, she broke that window directly and fell down, but it was still right behind her. Johanna knew that making too much noise was inviting her own death, so she started crawling slowly, but it wasn't that stupid. It had seen her. Now the whole thing had come up. When Johanna reached the deck, she was stunned seeing this spectacle. Does such a thing even exist in the ocean? That was her question. Meanwhile, we also saw that underwater cafe where a female staff member, while leaving for home after closing the cafe, saw something on the other side of the glass. She stopped and came closer to look at it. She also had a dose of curiosity inside her. That thing was that very creature, which breaks that glass and enters straight inside the cafe. Here, Johanna and Eric try their best to shut down those sonar devices by any means possible, but it was completely broken. So in the end, Johanna was forced to break it completely so that it would shut down on its own. Following that, a strange silence descended. Is everything all right? Another trouble for them was that this accident had cut off their firm from the entire town. Now they couldn't contact anyone. Therefore, Johanna fired a flare into the sky, which the sheriff also saw. For the first time, these people are able to see that giant creature in that red light, which is looking very dangerous. Johanna knew how all of this happened. It only came up because the blocker installed in those sonar devices was turned off by Mr. Nelson in the greed of earning more profit. But he forgot that nature has some such things hidden, which, if brought out by a single mistake, will destroy everything. Johanna understood that it won't go back like this, so she adopts a method. As we know, with high frequency, that small creature's heart had started trembling, so Johanna wants to use that same method here on a large scale. She just needs the right frequency. Otherwise, this method will backfire just like it did for Nelson. Eric helps her in this work. He brings all the sonar devices together and sets the exact right frequency, after which Johanna takes them 1,300 meters away. She drops all the sonars into the water one by one. Suddenly, the octopus's tentacles come from behind, grab her, and pull her straight down into the water. Here, for the first time, Johanna saw that octopus. Its huge, terrifying eyes were right next to her. If she stayed there a bit longer, she would be inside its stomach. But a miracle happened here. All the devices started working together at the same frequency. Johanna was still down there. Her breath was choking. Suddenly, that creature's heart burst from that sound, and slowly it went down deep into the water. It died, but along with it, someone else also died. Yes, indeed, Johanna breathed her last. In the process of correcting human error, she sacrificed her own life. Eric is completely shattered because he loved her, even though the two had separated years ago, but the love was still alive. Emma cries a lot too. A time 1 year later, everything has calmed down. The ocean has returned to normal. The fish firm has been shut down, and those sonar devices have also been turned off now. But friends, the danger is not over yet. Deep in the ocean, we found that an egg of that same octopus is being nurtured. Who knows when this apocalypse will come, but it will definitely come. And whenever it comes, it will be even more terrifying than the previous one, because humans killed its mother. And when it comes to a mother, nothing else is looked at. Never mess with those things that are not messing with you. Otherwise, what will happen next is something you have never seen before.